In this video, I'll explain some other questions about Season 7, like the Night King's chains, how he tied it around Viserion, and why didn't he reanimate Viserion in the water, etc. So stay tuned for that. Hello everyone, welcome to Ultimate Book Maniacs, your one-stop for book and TV series reviews. I've already discussed why the Night King killed Viserion instead of Drogon, vengeance, death, and Longclaw's eyes, etc. in the first part of this video. In this video, I'll explain more questions without discussing any spoilers. And since we are not discussing any spoilers here, make sure to add spoiler alert in your comments if you wanna discuss them. I'll post my Season 8 Q&A video on Saturday at 7 PM IST or at 9:30 AM EST. I'll discuss all the spoilers like Season 8 set photos, possible theories and predictions etc. in that video. I'll also post predictions about Sansa's fate in the final season soon. So make sure to subscribe this channel and also click on the bell icon to get a notification every time I post a video. So, let's discuss the next questions. The seventh question is asked by Sigalit Minash. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. She has asked, chains? Who placed the chains under the water? The Wights? Your comment made me wonder, from where did the Night King get the chains? Some people said that maybe the Night King had raided the villages beyond the wall and had the chains forged. But in order to forge a chain, he would need fire, right? And neither the Wights nor the Whitewalkers can work with fire. So unless the Night King had some living human beings like Craster working for him, I don't see how he could have forged a chain. That's why I think that the chains were made of ice. If you focus on the Night King's spear, it looks exactly like Viserion's chains. They look like metal, but it's actually ice. In the books, the others, aka the Whitewalkers' swords, are extremely sharp. They are capable of moving through ringmail as if it is silk. Even in the show, when Jon had attacked the Whitewalker's spear with a normal sword, the sword had shattered into a million pieces. When George R.R. Martin was asked what substance the swords of the others are made from, Martin had answered, ice. But not like regular old ice. The others can do things with ice that we can't even imagine and make substances of it. That's why I think the Night King won't have any trouble making the chains out of ice. Which brings us to our next question of how they tied it around Viserion. Abby has asked, if his magic does not work underwater, then how did the Wights go underwater to tie the chains? Wights are also his magic creations. It makes no sense. Remember the scene where the ice melts and a lot of Wights go underwater? We know that the Wights can move in the water, even though the Whitewalkers can't. You can see the signs of that in the Hardhome episode, where the Wights were standing in the water, but the Whitewalkers stayed far from it. And it was proved again when the Wights came out of the water to grab Tormund in Beyond the Wall episode before the Hound had saved him. Also, in the books, Jon sends Cotter Pike to Hardhome instead of going there himself. Pike sends Jon his report about Hardhome, in which he talks about the wildlings eating their own dead, and he sees dead things in the woods and dead things in the water. And by dead things, he means the Wights. So it proves that the Wights don't die underwater. Maybe the Whitewalkers' magic infused in them on the outside is enough to keep them alive when they go underwater. So my theory is that when Viserion fell in the lake, the Night King gave the chains to the Wights, who had already fallen into the lake through the melted ice earlier. Those Wights tied it around Viserion, and the Wights standing outside had pulled him out. 9th, Sigalit Minash had also mentioned the Night King walking on fire. Remember how in Season 6, when the Night King had attacked the Three-Eyed Raven's cave, he had just extinguished the fire surrounding the cave's entrance. I think he did the same thing here. He has the power of ice. Even fire cannot kill him. The fire will die if it touches him. 10th, why the Night King was ready with the spears. I have discussed why the Night King was ready with the spears in my episode 6 review video. The Night King knew that Dany will come with her dragons and had set a trap for them. That's why they hadn't attacked Jon for a couple of days. Just like Jon, the Night King was also waiting for Dany and her dragons. You might say that the Whites didn't attack them sooner because the ice had broken and they didn't realize that it was frozen again until the Hound threw that rock on the White. But we are talking about the White Walkers here. When the White Walkers come, the cold comes with them. It's so cold that even the tears on people's faces freeze. If the Night King had wanted, he could have just made the water of the lake freeze at any time, but he didn't. Why do you think he did that? That's why I think he was waiting for Dany. Maybe he knew that Dany had left Dragonstone and the attack began the moment she had left. As for how he could have known that, I have another crazy theory for that. I'll post it soon. 11th, Davy Boy has asked, do you think Viserion is a White or a White Walker? He was dead, which would indicate a White. But in that case, couldn't the Night King just raise him without dragging him out of the water, like he did with the Whites at Hardhome? The ones he has touched, like the babies, are now White Walkers. But they were all alive, not dead, like Viserion. It doesn't make sense to me. Abby Tabby had asked a similar question about Viserion being a White or a White Walker, and about the Night King having to touch Viserion instead of just raising his hand and making Viserion just fly out of the water. And I completely agree with you both. Some things in season 7 didn't make much sense at all, but I'm trying my best to put myself in David and Dan's shoes, and I'm trying to think how they might explain these things. I think I've already discussed this topic with someone a few months ago, so here's my theory on it. I'll divide your questions in two parts. I'll explain the first part of your question with a chart. Let's see the differences between a White and a White Walker first. The first difference is, when a person or an animal dies and a White Walker's magic reanimates them, they turn into Whites. Whereas, when the Night King touches a living creature, or when the children of the forest insert a dragon glass in a living man, only then a White Walker is created. Second, Whites are like zombies with limited mind or consciousness, whereas the White Walkers are brilliant, clever beings. I've explained in my Night King's Magic Explained and Bran's Journey videos before about how the Whites have shown intelligence by planning and organizing an attack. So the Whites have some intelligence, but the White Walkers seem like the masterminds. Third, during the Hardhome scene, we saw that the Whites were able to chase Jon and his people into water, but the White Walkers had stayed away from water. Fourth, Whites can be reanimated by any normal White Walker, but only the Night King or a Children of the Forest can create a White Walker. Fifth, if you kill a White Walker, all the Whites created by him will die too, but if you'll kill a White, only that White will die. 6. White Walkers can be killed by either Valyrian Steel or a dragonglass weapon, whereas Whites can only be killed by either fire or dragonglass, at least in the show. In the books, even dragonglass is useless against the Whites. Only fire can kill them in the books. I discussed this topic with Abby Tabby a couple of days ago. I got confused about whether Valyrian Steel can kill a White or not, since Jon hadn't used Longclaw in his demonstration in King's Landing. So I watched both Hardhome and Beyond the Wall scenes again. In the Hardhome episode, you can see that Jon had stabbed this White with his Valyrian Steel sword, and later had held him back with his sword while a wildling shoots arrows at it. It made two things clear for me. First, the Valyrian Steel's touch does not harm a White. If it had been dragonglass or a fire, the White wouldn't have been able to bear its touch. Even a little bit of fire hurts them a lot. Second, you can see other people like Tormund, the Night's Watch and wildlings etc. were fighting the Whites too. Their weapons were normal steel, but they worked just as fine as Jon's sword against the Whites. So Valyrian Steel is just like any other steel for them. That's why I'm pretty sure now that Valyrian Steel sword cannot kill the Whites. And the last difference is, a White Walker can control an army of Whites, while Whites cannot control anyone. That's why I believe that Viserion is a White, not a White Walker. It was also proved in the season 7 finale, where you could see holes in Viserion's wings. He was just like any other White, whose injuries remain even after they are reanimated. Let's come to the second part of your question now. Why didn't the Night King just reanimate Viserion while he was in the lake? I don't think he could have. As I've mentioned in my third point, I don't think the White Walkers can do huge amounts of magic where water is involved. While the magic transferred into the Whites might sustain them and keep them alive underwater, the White Walkers' magic might not work through the barrier of the water. Even the Whites who were in water at Hardhome were at the surface, whereas Viserion was completely submerged. And Viserion is huge, so maybe the Night King needed a lot of magic to reanimate him. Way more than what he would need to reanimate a dead human. I think that's why he had to pull Viserion out of the water and touch him to reanimate Viserion. So these were my explanations. What do you think? Do you think it makes sense? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, it's time for the comment shoutout now. Today's comment shoutout goes to my jolly sailor Bold, who had said, I think Danny had the same psychic bond with their riders as the direwolves had with the Stark kids. Also, Danny in the books is a green seer. She can see things in the future, and Drogon has red eyes, the color of the Vox, and the color of the Lord of Light. I love your theory. As I've said in my Who is the Prince That Was Promised and Azor Ahai video, I think the three heads of the dragon are the three saviors who will help humans defeat the White Walkers. And those three saviors are Danny, Bran, and Jon. In the books, we know that both Jon and Bran are green seers. And if your theory is right and Danny is a green seer too, it would definitely explain why these three were chosen to be the three heads of the dragon. So, what do you think of these theories? Don't forget to tell us in the comments. If you like this video, please click on the like button below, share the video and subscribe to my channel. Have a great day. Bye bye. See you in my next video.